Apparently, a group calling itself Atta Institute that the family doesn't recognize and Coastal Development Authority have gone to break this grave of President John Evans Atta Mills. They have removed the tomb, and what they've done is they claim that they are rebuilding it. Now, my question is this: we have traditions. Why would you go and touch somebody's grave without informing the family? Now, the question I want to ask is this: now that you've gone to touch it, is the body still in that grave?
Brother of one of Ghana's presidents, Sam Atta Mills, accusing Kokou Anyidoho and the Coastal Development Authority of tampering with the tomb and the body of the late President John Evans Atta Mills. However, speaking exclusively to Metro News, the former aide of the late president and the chief executive officer of the Atta Mills Institute, Kokou Anyidoho, denied the accusations leveled against him by Samuel Atta Mills, saying his assertions are politically motivated. Kokou Anyidoho also insisted he informed the family of the late president.
Conference yesterday. Apart from Samuel Atta Mills, do you see any family there? Was it not politicians? So they want to play politics with the death of President Mills. I don't want to play politics with it. For me, I'm in service to God and country. Lots of the members of the family. But because of respect for each and every one of them, I will not mention names. I will not mention names.
How do you respond to allegations that the body of the late president has been exhumed from the grave?
How? Even in our own small ways, as families, as groups, as organizations, don't we do tombstones to remember the dead? And when we are doing it, do we exhume bodies? Do we? We don't. That's all we have done.
The former aide of the late president also called the bluff of the minority who threatened to sue him for his involvement in the ongoing renovation of the Asomdwee Park.
How do you sue me for building a state monument? Since when did it become illegal for an NGO to collaborate with government for a good cause? Since when? What are they called? NGOs? So we can't all be in government, so it's non-governmental. And you're working with government, and it's a crime. That fake memorial heritage. Tell them to go and build their library in Cape Coast. If they really want to uphold the heritage of the president, the late president, they should go and build the Cape Coast Library and stop disturbing my equilibrium.
According to him, he cannot be sued for working for the state. The Asomdwee Park is currently closed and undergoing renovations. The park is expected to be opened to the public on the 26th of July 2022.
Right, and we're staying on this very subject as we are expecting some sort of standoff on the day of the unveiling of the tomb or the relaunch of the tomb, because in Ghana, different cultures observe different rituals and traditions in relation to their dead family or loved ones. One thing that's not very clear is which protocol overrides each other, and when it comes to rights, especially for a statesman as against a cultural norm. And this issue has become relevant due to what's happening around the erection of a tombstone for the late former president, John Evans Atta Mills, and especially following comments by his brother, who's MP for KEEA, Samuel Atta Mills, that the family is not aware of the construction that's leading to a desecration of the resting place of his brother. And to understand this, we have a historian and cultural expert who's also a lawyer, Yawanoche Frimpong. Good evening, and thank you very much for joining us. So I have listened to Mr. Kokou Anyidoho, and I've listened to the MP as well. And he says he has absolutely no problem with what they are doing. What he doesn't understand is why there was no respect, invitation extended to the family before you touch anybody's tomb. Were they wrong in not contacting the family, especially when you're touching the tomb of whether a statesman or of a statesman, let's say of a statesman, let's just keep it at that. I'll ask the previous. Were they wrong?
Well, I believe that Mr. Anyidoho and his team, if they are wrong, that one would have been committed against the state and not his family. And when I say his family, I mean the family of the late president. And by explanation, I need to say that we all belong to the state. And so the state has fundamental interest in us. And putting it in a layman's language, I would say that we are all properties of the state. Below the state comes the family. And so if at the time of the death of the president, and I mean Professor John Atta Mills, the government, after doing whatever it wanted to do with it, like families and whatever, had decided to give the body to the family, that one would have become the family's property. Even there, at any time, the state would have the right to take back the mortal remains. But in this case...
Does the mortal remain belong to the state or the family?
To the state, because the state, they do not relinquish its rights in it.
So the state, essentially, I just want to put it in a layman's voice. So in essence, the state owns the body of Professor John Evans Atta Mills.
The body, and I will extend it.
Explain.
The state owns the body. And so where it is now, if anybody wants to do anything with it, like Mr. Anyudoho is explaining that they were trying to refurbish the place, the consent, authorization, and concurrence of the state is what is needed. And if he has acquired that, period.
The family says they needed to perform certain rights
please.
as culturally
no
allowed.
culture here. And I said that if the body had been given to the family, it would have been their property. And so anybody wanting to go and visit that place or do anything, that person will have first to see the family. And by extension, let's talk about that of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. You know, he was buried in his village in Crawford.
But we understand there were rites that were performed before he was moved to the mausoleum. It wasn't, they just didn't go there and dig it because it's Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, we own him, so they just picked it and then relocated it.
Because initially it belonged to the family.
But everybody belongs to a family. But by virtue of service, that's why you become the property of the state.
No. From the very word go as you are born.
So I'm for the state. The state can do with me as they like.
It's for the state, not to do bad things to you, but any positive thing, because even the state...
then make me understand, of what essence is family?
The family.
Yes. If you are called family, no respect as to what happens to their loved one, then of what essence is family then?
When we talk about rights, we are talking about a hierarchy. And I'm saying that with specific reference to the citizens of the republic, properties of the republic, as we sit here, the state can decide to compulsorily acquire this, and the state will go ahead to do that. Okay. And I'm saying that because the state did not relinquish its interest in the mortal remains of the president.
Because they preserved it at a park,
at
Asomdwee park. Right.
That place belongs to the state. And so Kweku Anyudoho would need the consent of the state, permission of the state, to do whatever it wants.
Right.
wants.
So I want us to take it step. So it means that when Prof. Mills died, if the family had said we would bury him and they chose a place for him, it would be for the family.
No.
Until he's moved to a different state.
No. When he died, if the family had requested for it, and indeed they did, I'm saying that the state has a superior interest. The state said no. Just as when Rollins died, the family wanted the mortal remains, and the state said no. When Kwame Nkrumah died, initially, the whole thing was given to the family because he had stated that in his will. But whatever you state in your will with reference to your dead body is only a death wish.
Okay.
The family can decide to respect it or not. But between the family and the state, that of the state is higher. So in Nkrumah's case, after 20 years, the state decided to relocate the grave to Accra. And please, to conclude, if anybody wants to enter the mausoleum of Kwame Nkrumah, you don't go and see the family at Nkrofol. It belongs to the state.
Okay.
And if the family members want to...
No, you're not done. What I want us to do, I want us to project... There are two programs happening on the same day. There's an invitation out with the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And then there's another one from the Atta Mills Memorial Heritage, of which the family are board members. So we'll project the two programs on our wall so you have a look at it. Now, the one which involves the president Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo will happen at 9 a.m. or will start at 9 a.m. And then the one by the John Evans Atta Mills Memorial Institute, or the Memorial Heritage, will happen from 11. So they say 9:30. This one includes his brothers, his 2 brothers who are alive and sister. So he has 3 brothers left. There were 6. 3 have died, 3 are left. And so this is their program, and it's happening on the same day at the same venue. So this is a place to look to. So on 22nd of July, the family says they will hold a press conference at 9:30 a.m. 19th July, press conference will happen, which is, today is 20th, right?
Today's 20th.
Yeah, today's 20th. So this should have happened yesterday, which they did. It was actually in Parliament. I saw that. And then 22nd, the Muslim prayers in remembrance of President John Evans Atta Mills. And this is where the issue would happen. 22nd, there's a program there with the President of the Republic. They said they were not invited for the program as well. And then at 8 a.m. next day, which is the 23rd, John Evans Atta Mills Memorial Hockey Tournament. We know the President loved hockey. And so they're going to go to the National Hockey Pitch to host a program there. 24th is, we'll do the wreath laying ceremony and memorial service for the President John Evans Atta Mills by the NDC at the Asomdwee Park, which is near Osu. And then 26th, also 10th anniversary commemorative lecture with lawyer Chachuchi Kata, Chairman Anoto Sribwo, Chairman who's the Council of State, and at the Accra International Center. So this is their program, right? But the one that is supposed to happen, this is the one with the state, where President Nana Addo Dankwa, the President of the Republic, requests the pleasure of the company of, then your name is there, to the 10th anniversary Thanksgiving and memorial service for the late President John Evans Atta Mills, the unveiling of a tombstone and commissioning of the Asomdwee Park is the 24th July. Okay, so the 24th July 2022. Can we have the other program back? 24th July 2022. All right, so they are also hosting the 24th July 10th anniversary wreath laying ceremony the same day, but they say 12:30, but the president only starts now. So I wanted you to have a look at what is happening here. 2 different programs happening on the same venue. What do you see happening here?
I don't think it will create any problem because, as I've already stated, the body belongs to the state, so the state will treat it the way it lies, and it does not owe any obligation to anyone with reference to how the state decides to do things, and specifically the body of John Evans Atta Mills. But I believe that the state would accord some respect to their family by way of not allowing a clash to happen over there. But
what does the state lose by inviting the living brothers and sisters or family of the late president if they're doing a program like that? Not a single invitation has been extended. I believe it's a
matter of courtesy. It's a matter of courtesy.
So they don't regard the living...
Not that they don't regard. It's a matter of courtesy.
They feel disrespected. They feel like they have been neglected and the state has taken over. And you said they have the right to do so. They've taken over and handed it over to a man that they wouldn't even want to sit with.
They are not the only people complaining. I know that Nkrumah's family is always also complaining all the time that they feel neglected, the fact that they are isolated. This was somebody they could have kept over there so that everybody in the world will come to Nkrofo, and the government says no. And I can assure you that even if Nkrumah's closest family want to visit the mausoleum, they would need to pay courtesy to the state first. Otherwise, they will not be allowed there because that place is state property and the body as well.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, lawyer Anoche Frimpong. It's always a pleasure to have you here. He's a historian and a lawyer saying that the state has the overriding right to decide what it wants to do with the body or the tomb of the late President, Professor John Evans Atta Mills. Because first of all, we are all properties of the state. And if the state wants or cares or decides to extend the courtesy, in which case, in this very case, the family says the state has failed to extend them that courtesy of being part of the ceremony. And so they are also having their own ceremony. Same day that the president will be there. We'll have to stay with Metro Television because we will be covering this and see what happens on the day when the president will be there to unveil the tombstone. And then the family and the NDC will also be there to lay wreath. Let's continue with the rest of our story here. In relation to this, because the Coastal Development Authority says the body of the late former President John Evans Atta Mills is still in his grave, reacting to concerns of the minority in Parliament that the body has been tampered with. Deputy Chief Executive Kofi Kakari Bonzi says the weight of the concrete mounted on the tomb even makes it impossible for anyone to tamper with it.
Deputy CEO of the Coastal Development Authority says they were instructed by President Akufo-Addo to prioritize the renovation of the burial grounds of the late Professor Mills.
We see monuments as part of economic and cultural monuments that impacts on the people of the Coastal Development Zone as well as the people of Ghana. So this particular monument were directed by the President, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, I think upon the appeals of an institution called Atta Institute to renovate the Asomdwee Park. So we did a sword cutting in 2020.
He said the authority liaised with relevant state institutions in charge of state monuments before embarking on the exercise in 2020. The scope of work done so far included the redesigning and construction of ICT lab, library, cafeteria, 700 meters fence wall, and many others.
And for the past 2 years, this is what we have done so far. The scope of work included the redesign and construction of ICT lab, a library, cafeteria, and artifacts buildings. We have completed that one. We have also completed the fencing of the entire area. We have construction of concrete shed and replacement of alucobond panels over the tomb of the late president. We have completed. Construction of fence wall, I've reiterated that. Construction of entrance for general public and the VIP completed. Paving of 50-meter walkway to and around the tomb completed. Asphalting of driveway to the general entrance. Currently work is ongoing. I just returned from the site. Landscaping of the general area around the tomb to make it very attractive. Work is ongoing over there. So this is what we have done for the past 2 years, and we are putting final touches to it so that we can hand it over to the presidency for them to